Hi, I'm Shane. I use she, her pronouns, and this is the third session of our Monsterhearts 2 game, Tomb of Horrors. This game was organized through the the Gauntlet online gaming calendar. If you would like to find out more about the Gauntlet or come and play a game with us, you can find out more at gauntlet-rpg.com. We're about a month and a half out from the Gauntlet Community Open Gaming Weekend, so that's a great opportunity if you would like to come and play some games with us. I should also mention that we've already talked about safety tools for this game, so we will be using the X card, lines and veils that we've already talked through and that the players all have access to, and the open door policy, and the game will run according to the Gauntlet Community Code of Conduct. Now, I would love to get my players to introduce themselves. Not your characters yet, we'll get to that in just a sec. But just going around the order that you're on my screen, your name, your pronoun, anything else that you'd like to tell us about yourself or how people can find you online, especially if you have any Zine Quest or other projects coming up that people might want to check out. So, Rai, can you start us off?
I just opened Netflix. Oops. So I have crazy music in the background. 1 second. Nothing like having an anime blast headphones all of a sudden. My name is Rai, he, him. I'm not on any social media except for the Gauntlet Slack, but you can find me there under Rock and Roll. And I'm super excited for our game tonight.
Cool. Matthew?
Yeah, hi, I'm Matthew. I go by he, him pronouns. Today I'll be playing Iris, the hollowed out assassin girl, trying to make sense of the world. You can find me on Twitter doing video game punditry and the like at Arcelia Matthew. Also, I am one of the out of focus guys behind. If my household were a band, there'd be three cats in front of it, and my partner Jamie, and I'm just the out of focus guy in the back. Jamie is another fellow in the gauntlet whose work I like to pimp here, or take the opportunity to pimp. You can find their designs at temporalhiccup.itch.io, where they release their games under the name Sword Queen Games. And yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Thank you, Matthew and Jamie. Adam?
Hi, I'm Adam. I use he, him. I've been a member of the Gauntlet community for a little over a month now, and I'm very happy about it.
Right.
Let's get going.
Awesome. And Sam?
Yeah, hi. My name is Sam Zimmerman. I use he, him pronouns. I write games. I write a bunch of RPG-related stuff, all under the company Typhos Games, Typhos. We are going to be running a Zine Quest Kickstarter. Thanks for calling that out. And you can find more information about that at Typhos Games on Twitter or at typhosgames.com.
Awesome. Thanks very much, everyone. So just want to briefly recap where the story's at, and then get you to introduce your characters a little more. So it's the 1980s. All of your characters are, willingly or not, part of Springwood High's D&D club, which is currently running the infamous module Tomb of Horrors. Last session of our game, not last session of their game. Last session of our game, Dorian and Hope hooked up after Dorian tried to check out the former nunnery that is now occupied by the Holy Fire Ministry. And Kane and Iris narrowly escaped some goons searching for Iris and did a sort of classic combination of flirting and fighting and sexual and non-sexual tension. I hope that's a fair summary. And also we know that the police have their eye on Kane in connection with the body that he disposed of at his patron Papazottle's behest. Is there anything else from last time or by way of recap that people want to cover before we get started? All right. if anything comes up, obviously we can just deal with it as it does. So I want to start this week with a musical montage. So what I want you to imagine is that the Judas Priest song Parental Guidance is kicking in the background. We're starting to hear that big riff. If you don't know that particular song, any 80s hair metal will do as a substitute. And we're going to flick around different scenes involving all of your characters and catch up with what they've been doing, because I want to actually sort of progress the game a bit. I want us to get to our next D&D game. We finished up last time, it was Monday morning, and I just want us to quickly cover over what happened in the week up until the next Saturday. So I'll ask you each to describe 1 or 2 quick vignettes of what we see your character doing before we kick off. If anything comes up that we actually need to role play out, that's totally fine. We'll break it down and do a scene, but I would just love to hear a quick vignette or two, and also just for you to introduce your character as you do that as well, like how we see them, what we see, who they are. So for this, let's just go left to right across the character keeper. Adam, do you want to introduce Hope and tell us about something that we see her do as Judas Priest play in the background?
Sure. I'm playing Hope. She is a ghost. She's a girl who's been recently deceased, and she doesn't yet know what exactly happened, but she's been coming to grips with the fact that she is in fact dead, and it manifests itself by people not really noticing her or paying attention to her much anymore. What she's been doing this week, I think she's been following Dorian around, of course, because after the events of last episode, she has become a part of Dorian's gang, and also she considers herself and Dorian to be a team of sorts, maybe not exactly a couple, but something like a team. And I think she's been visiting the place of her death, which is the cliffs, the rocky cliffs overlooking the town. I think maybe she's been subconsciously looking for answers by trying to visit the place and to get the feel of it a little more. I think
Cool.
that's it. I think that's it for now.
Cool. So I'm going to just intersperse some other images that we see in this montage in between the scenes that all of you propose. So after we see a little bit of what Hope's been up to, we get some images of a girl in a denim jacket with huge shoulder pads, and she is taping up a photocopied poster on a telephone pole about her missing cat. And as we sort of pull back and pan down the street, we see that there are a lot of posters about missing pets that seem to be going up around the town of Springwood. Now, just going left to right across the character keeper again. So, Kane, what do we see of you?
Yeah, so Kane is this dark-haired, kind of pale teenage boy. He's got this, he typically wears these kind of torn up black jackets that look less like they were intentionally torn up and more like they're just kind of old and not very well kept. But he's got these bright purple, almost glowing purple eyes that are kind of piercing and painful to look at for too long. But I think the scenes that we get are alternating scenes of him lying on his bed, just the camera straight down and spinning down on him as he's on his bed, writing in a book, and then him walking through the kitchen and his mom yelling at him while he's just ignoring her as he walks through the kitchen, picks up his backpack and walks out the door. And then back, and this happens 3 times with essentially the same thing, but he's wearing slightly different clothes, and the backdrop is a little bit different every time.
Great. After Cain's scenes, we get some shots of the evangelists down at the former nunnery. We don't hear what they're saying exactly, but we can tell it's this very hell, fire and brimstone type speech about the satanic forces that are besetting and facing contemporary teens of the 1980s. Matthew, tell us about Iris and what we see of her in this montage.
I just want to say before we cut to Iris, I kind of imagine Kansas's "Carry On My Wayward Son" playing for Kane. And the music sort of continues over, like as we cut into the nuns and all that stuff. I don't even have a song ready for Iris, but anyway, I was just really immersed in that moment. I guess. Sorry, where did we leave off with Kane? I just say with Iris, we just catch her being sort of bored and disaffected in class, and at that point, given her encounter with Sam in the previous session, and things being as messy as they are with what she has seen at the drive-in, she's in on the window seat of her homeroom class, and she's got a knife under her desk, like a Swiss Army knife, I guess. She managed to sneak it past the school. I don't think they had metal detectors active yet in 80s high schools, right? That's pre-Columbine, so. Sorry, I didn't mean to make light of the situation. I'm just stating a fact. Yeah, and she's just carving like notches into the desk in frustration.
Oh. All right. So just to shift tonally as much as I could possibly shift the tone, we also get scenes in this montage that tell us that there is a big party coming up this weekend. We see some kids at the school excitedly talking about something. We see someone writing out the details in this flowing longhand script in a diary with the words "parents away" underlined 3 times. And then we see a local teenager very affectionately waving goodbye to their parents in the driveway. And then as soon as the car is out of sight, jumping and pumping a fist in the air at the freedom that's been unleashed.
Can we make the music for Iris as Iris finishes? It plays "Wishing Well" by Free. I'm not sure if you know that song. And then when the song sort of dials down in volume a little bit, and then when the kids jump into their car and to go be all naughty and stuff, that's when the guitars return in full force.
All right, sounds great. And Rye, what about Dorian?
So Dorian is the de facto, I guess, or the leader, I guess, of the D&D club, or was before it got inundated by a bunch of other people. He's super kind of he was super kind of angry in the first episode, but I think he's kind of evolved a little bit after hooking up with Hope, but super angsty for sure. Wears a lot of black leather, drives a big motorcycle, and what we see Dorian doing this week is there's some shots of him first in the dark room, blowing up pictures of a dead cat, and then walking around the school when no one's looking and taping them up on people's lockers. Specifically, he puts one on Kane's because he just doesn't. He's still kind of pissed at Kane for coming to D&D. And then the other shots we see of him are probably a couple more of him up on the rimrock with his telephoto lens, kind of peeking at the cultists, or sorry, the church, the abbey. They're not cultists. And then a couple other shots of maybe a shot with him lying on his bed and Hope with her head on his chest or something. But the whole time he's reading Jennifer's thoughts. And he's spending a lot of time going back and forth between Hope's head and Jennifer's head, when he's not around people.
That's amazing. So I think we might also see another scene where he finds like another animal sacrifice type situation. And what I'd like to set up is that you have also booked some more darkroom time for after D&D Club today, if that works for you. Because you did request a darkroom scene, and I am nothing if not responsive. The last scenes that we get in this montage, we briefly see some of the scary, buff, nerdy guys who are hunting Iris around town, and then as the song like winds down, we see Jen, the dungeon master, asleep in bed, and the camera pans slowly across her room as the song fades out and comes to rest. The camera is looking down at a copy of the Tomb of Horrors module, and we see a faint green glow. We hear a sinister laugh echo as if from far away, and then we arrive at the table for D&D on Saturday. So I think we've established that Dorian is consistently the latest arrival for D&D Club. Yeah, please.
But I think there have been like several sessions this week with Hope, because Dorian got his character killed last time, so we had to create a new character, and his new character's name is Fog the Whisper Knife. And
sorry, can you say that again?
His name is Fog.
Yep.
And his alias is the Whisper Knife, and he is a thief because we needed a thief to go through the Tomb of Horrors, and we didn't have one, which Hope has instructed him on, like how to create a really good thief. And so I think you actually see him there, like waiting for everyone with extra snacks.
All right. So Kane, I think you arrive next. You see Dorian waiting there. Do you guys exchange any words?
I think I would be very confused. Yeah, Kane walks up. He's smoking a cigarette. Kind of stops for a second and like doesn't really know how to act in this situation because Dorian's not really been that nice to Kane. And so I think I'd just walk up and like toss my backpack on the ground next to the door and just kind of lean up against the wall and sort of like almost insultingly pretend that Dorian isn't there.
Shane, I need a little bit of information before I can give you Dorian's reaction. What has Jennifer been thinking about Kane at all this week?
Oh, what a great question. How to answer that? Kane, tell me if you're interested in this. If not, I'll just decide an answer.
I did roll turn someone on the very first session and so got a good number. So
you have a string on her, is what I recall.
Yes, I do have a string on her.
Are you interested in rolling to turn someone on again to see whether she has continued to think about you?
Yeah, sure. Let's do that.
All right.
And I think this is one of the better times to use this string. So let's see if that it happens. All right. +1. That is an 8. So I think I'll keep the 8.
Yep. So she can either give you a string or choose one of the reactions. Okay. So I think that's a yes, Dorian. Jennifer has definitely been thinking about Kane. How does Dorian feel when he's in Jen's head and she's having, perhaps inappropriate thoughts about another member of the D&D club? Does he stick around for those thoughts or does he get out?
I think the first couple times he gets mad and he like just shuts off and like goes and takes some more gross photography of another dead animal. But I think by the end of the week, he's starting to enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's starting to get aroused too.
Yeah.
by thoughts of Kane. And so when Kane shows up, he's like, yeah, I think he's a mess now. He was like set to go, ready to play some D&D, and Kane's the first one here, and he's just like, I think, yeah, you try to ignore him, and he just like turns around and starts smoking his cigarette the other way.
Do I need to roll turn someone on again? But
Yes.
I think that tracks. That one is a 5.
Oh, miss.
So, is I forget?
So you get an XP.
Yes. Is there? Oh, add 1 to your roll against them. Okay, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you interested in using that? It's not going to help you.
It's not going to help me. So.
Yeah. So
You have a string on me too, but
I looked at that and I don't have it's not going to be enough to bump me up to a 7.
yeah, I'm just thinking about what might happen here. So I think this is the moment that Jen arrives, and she coolly observes whatever is happening between Kane and Dorian right now. Maybe neither of you is fully. I mean, Dorian knows more about it than Kane, but Kane knows some things that Dorian probably doesn't. Jen seems to be absorbing all of it, and we'll come back to the two of you in a bit. Iris and Hope, you just run into each other at the school gate, like as you're heading in towards D&D Club. Do you talk on the? Yep, Matthew. Sorry, you're muted.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just like, oh wait, I realize I don't think I have actually met Hope.
Oh, yeah. So you
established that we have. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, I think you might have a moment of realization, like you think you haven't seen her before, but then you realize actually she's been around like your entire school career, and you've just never noticed.
Yeah, it's like a double take of some kind.
Yeah, that's what I think. If that sounds good.
Yeah, sure.
And do you say anything?
Yeah, I like the idea of just sort of like a shadow passing over kind of like feeling. I'm not sure if that's describing it for you. That description jives with the rest of you. Like the idea that all along there's somebody who's been taking a fifth turn in the game. Yeah. So I'm not sure what to do with that with Hope, but I definitely do sort of a double take. And at that point, you know, I just kind of roll with it. Iris like sort of cocks her head and tries to get Hope to join her and like say like, oh, you know, we're gonna be late for D&D Club. like it's nothing.
Hope, do you reply?
You're like,
well, I think Hope would to take Iris by the hand. Why not? At this point, and lead her. Yes, we must hurry and lead her to the room.
ooh,
why not? But they've been in D&D club for ages already, so they are practically best friends. That's how Hope sees people.
Does Iris let her take her hand?
Yeah, she does.
Okay. Cool. And you both arrive shortly after D&D Club. Michael, who's one of the other members of the club, isn't there. Doesn't turn up. Probably, you know, Jen gives it a good 15 minutes and then kind of, you know, calls it and decides we're just going to start without him. Do any of you want to have, you know, want to talk to each other before the game starts in that time?
I think Dorian will just kind of like reach out for Michael and see what's going on. He realizes he usually like checks in on him a couple times during the week, just kind of like, but he realizes he's been so distracted this week that he's probably forgotten to do that.
You don't feel Michael when you reach out in the normal way.
Dorian's all sorts of flustered now. I think he's just sitting at the table, like with his dice, like kind of rolling them and trying to search around for Michael.
Yeah. Would I notice that Dorian is flustered?
Does Dorian want to roll to keep his cool, and we'll see whether he holds it together? Nice. So on a 7 to 9, the MC will tell you how your actions would leave you vulnerable, and you can choose to back down or go through with it. So I think it's pretty clear what the move here has to be. Kane is going to realize one of two things, and you can decide which it is. Kane is going to realize that you're freaking out a bit in a weird way. Maybe figure out it's about Michael, or maybe not know, but know that you're upset about something. Or Kane's going to realize that you've been involved in sexual fantasies about him. What is Kane going to figure out? Or you can choose to back. Well, no, I guess it says you can choose to back down. I guess you're not really going through with anything, so you don't really have the backing down option.
I think I'll go with the Michael situation just because that's what I'm thinking about real hard right now, and I keep looking at Michael's chair.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that tracks. I was going to use that to give another string to my dark power and potentially ask a question about Dorian.
Yep.
And so
remind me how the move works.
Yeah, so I give the dark power a string and realize a secret about somebody that I'm talking to or in the room. The owner of that character will reveal one of their secret fears, secret desires, or secret strengths, their choice.
Okay. You want to use that on Dorian?
And I want to use that on Dorian because I want to figure out why he's so freaked out. And because I don't think Kane knows about the whole telepathy thing. And so I mean, he's just not here. Why is that such a big deal?
Is this something you have to roll for, or you just?
No, my dark power gets a string on me. That's the
What were my options again?
You can tell me a secret fear, a secret desire, or a secret strength.
Dorian's secret fear is that others are going to find out about his weird telepathy thing. Because I don't think even the people, it's like a closer group than usual because he can kind of sense their feelings and react to that and kind of mold the situation. But he's never told them he reads their minds. So, yeah.
Okay.
Does Kane react to the realization that Dorian has telepathic powers?
I think Kane is pretty troubled by that because he thought that weird superpower craziness was just like a rarity, and now everybody seems to have something, and it's weird, and I don't like it. And it's going to make my whole thing a lot harder because I really don't want him reading my head. I don't think that would be good for either of us. So I need to be more careful.
Hope, you see that Dorian, who you care about, in some ways seems troubled. Do you do or say anything?
I think when I come in, can I sit between Dorian and Kane? That would be the ideal place at the table for me.
Sure.
and yeah, I can see that there's this tension between them, and I think I look at both of them. I look at Kane specifically because I assume we just didn't follow up yet on the whole alibi or some other thing that we can.
I'm happy with either way you want to do that. Like if it's a scene that you want to play out, then let's get to it later. But if it's something that you just want to say has happened, then yeah, you can just say you've alibied Kane.
I'm fine with it being a you did me a favor and maybe I owe you one type deal.
Okay. So maybe Hope assumed that now that we're all helping each other, we can all be a bunch of happy campers, and there's all this animosity here. I think Hope would very much like to be the bridge that links those two troubled souls in their searches, because
What have
they're
you
not
gotten
that
yourself into?
they're not that dissimilar from each other. Maybe they don't realize it yet. Maybe Hope should be the one who shows them this truth. Yeah, maybe that can be her next goal.
All right. And did she say anything, or is this just something she's reflecting on?
No, I think she will say something just to relieve the tension. She'll be like, "Look, Kane, Dorian made a pretty cool new character, didn't he?"
You picked the one topic that Kane does not care about at all.
We are in D&D. Hope assumes everyone's into it.
That's true.
Kane just kind of looks down at the sheet that you hand him.
Oh yeah, Hope definitely just grabs the sheet from Dorian's hand practically and shoves it into in front of Kane's face. Look, it's what we lacked last time. We are bound to win.
We were missing something last time. I think we were all doing pretty good last time.
The balance was out of whack, but now we are prepared for whatever Jennifer, and she stares daggers at Jennifer at this point. Whatever Jennifer's about to throw our way.
Hope, it's all right. I'm sure Jennifer's gonna take it easy on us today. Like, I'm totally what happened last time. It was my bad. I was kind of. Jennifer, have you seen Michael lately?
Jennifer's pretty busy with doing some last minute prep or whatever behind the screen. She just pops her head up and goes, "No, I thought he'd be here."
Yeah, but did you see him this week at all?
Oh yeah. I think you've both seen him through the week on and off, at school.
Okay. Anyway, yeah.
So, out of game, I always have a hard time contextualizing Iris's ability to use gaze into the abyss, because she's not explicitly a supernatural character, but I definitely want to use it right now.
What is it that you're thinking of doing or trying to figure out?
I think the context I would like to establish maybe is that it is just Iris's in nature to just be so detail oriented about things that are amiss, about the energies in the room and things. And so Michael's absence, I think, is deeply felt by her, and just sort of wave-like presence that only someone like her can attune to. And I think she's going to use that to gaze into the abyss.
Yeah, I'm imagining. I don't know if this is at all what you're thinking, but I'm picturing the scenes in the Terminator when you see through his eyes, and there are all these equations on his field, and diagrams in his field of vision and stuff as he works stuff out.
I'm thinking less like a machine and more like someone who just sort of I don't necessarily want to scientificize Monsterhearts, right? But I think Iris can feel like resonance in the air and in the earth and all that stuff, and that's why she's such a good killer. Do you know what I mean? Like she can detect when people are going. She can detect when people are going to move before they know they're going to move. You know what I mean?
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
That works for me.
So every day, every time she comes to D&D club, Michael's presence there gives the room an energy, and that absence is profoundly lacking. And so she wants to know if Michael has sort of like if anything has happened to Michael that's left a change in the atmosphere. You know what I mean? So anyway, without much further ado, rolling gaze into the abyss.
Yeah.
Create a roll, gazing abyssally. 2d6 and my dark +2. And here we go. That's just 13.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's absolutely clear to you that Michael's energies no longer exist. That Michael is dead.
Fuck.
How do you react to that realization?
Okay, so this is how it works. When Iris walks into the room, she's got her hand on her bag, and she just sort of like lets go of her strap, and then just sort of looks around the room, like very like just a couple seconds, and then throws her bag down on the floor and goes "fuck," and then sort of cocks her head, looks at Jennifer and Dorian, and goes like, "Michael's dead."
Oh my God.
It just lays out.
Dorian just stands up and goes, "What the fuck did you say?
He's dead.
How the fuck do you know that?"
I can just feel it. It's just the room. It's different somehow. It's I don't know how to explain it to you. I only know what I feel, and I only feel what I know, and I know that Michael's dead.
Yeah, and Dorian's like the one person you don't have to explain it to right now. He can feel it. Like you just put the name on what he was feeling.
So Jen is just going to stand up and be like, Iris, that is not funny. Just take a seat. Let's get on with the game.
Do I look like I make jokes?
You can't magically tell that Michael is dead. What are you talking about?
Look, Jen, I know I know magic only exists in D&D, but it doesn't mean I can't. It doesn't mean that I don't feel what I feel.
What happened? Where is he?
I don't know. I just know whatever's happened to him. It's he's dead, and everything in this world that he has touched or that has touched him feels it too.
Dorian's gonna reach out real quick to his other thrall, Jesse, just to make sure they're still alive.
Yeah, so she's in the room at the moment.
Oh, she is.
So,
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And alive. No, which you can't say for everyone here.
And I think Hope, at the realization of after the announcement that Iris made, I think she digs out of her pocket the leaflet for the holy fire, and places it on the table and moves it slowly toward Dorian and gives him this knowing look.
Dorian looks down at the leaflet and then looks at Hope, and his eyes just get wide. And he's like, "You don't fucking think those crazy."
I mean, we should probably find out.
Fine, let's go.
So Dorian, Actually, as you like look at the flyer that Hope's just pushed towards you, you notice that there's like some text on it that you hadn't really paid attention to before, and it's at a glance, it's a variant on the famous parable of the prodigal son, about a son who goes off, and his brothers are very loyal, but he goes off and gallivants, and still his father rewards him when he gets back. But this version doesn't refer to the prodigal son as such. The son who is like singled out as seen as not deserving by his brothers is the one who's described as the firstborn of the hive mind, who goes off, lays some sort of brood or expands their consciousness. It's not really clear what's being described, but it just strikes you as an odd interpretation of the famous Bible passage.
So Dorian realizes that and was like getting ready to storm out the door, and now I think he just sits down and his face is just like drained of color, and he's trying to like understand like what the hell is going on.
As Dorian was trying to process this information, I just kind of like looked to Hope, and I'm like, and Iris is like, where did you get that?
In the flyer, this weird person gave it to me. No, to us. She will say to us, just to emphasize the fact that she and Dorian are tight. Some weird person gave it to us up on the hills, and I think as Iris speaks to her, we didn't hit it earlier when we met in the doorway, but Hope feels Iris's piercing gaze upon her, and she can sense that Iris can see through her. I think there's this vibe that Iris gives, especially after she announced this thing about Michael, was it? That I think Hope is now really freaked out that Iris knows about her as well. If Iris can just walk into a room and tell that someone is dead, she must totally know about her, and she shrinks a little as she speaks to Iris.
I don't depict Iris necessarily as like, the crazy goth bitch or whatever like that, but I do think of her as someone who's like, if she sees a ghost, she's just going to take it for granted. And so I kind of hand waved that out earlier, that I just assume that the moment she sees Hope, like, it's a ghost, whatever, like, it's not even something that just like, that troubles her or irks her, and accepts it for what it is.
So maybe that's the moment that Hope picks up on it, and then that makes it stand out for her.
I think just for an aesthetic cue, I think I like the idea though that perhaps Hope appears either by your choice, either Hope appears more translucent to Iris than she does to other people, or more opaque, more like corporeal, more tangible, to Iris. Your pick, I think, Adam.
I think translucent is good, because I imagine that Hope might gradually go out of focus, almost become less and less visible as time progresses. That's how I think it will go.
And thematically, the way I choose to interpret that is that Iris or Hope are more accepting of Hope being a ghost. You know what I mean? Like, it's like no need to like make that pretense of being like opaque.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Jen at this point just gets up. She realizes that everyone is like a bit freaked out, and she just says, "Look, I'm going to go call Michael's house. He's probably just sick. I'll just check that everything's okay, and then I'll be back. Just wait here. We'll just be playing." Iris, this is like, she's annoyed at Iris. This is not funny. Like, she's just kind of storming out. She leaves you all behind. She's going to have to walk over to the phone booth.
Kane just gets up and goes out and pulls out another cigarette. Because I'm not going to stand around in here waiting for the rest of you guys to.
Dorian, I think, is going to walk out too and follow Jen to the phone booth.
Okay. What do Hope and Iris do?
I think Iris will. Where's Dorian specifically going?
Like following Jen towards the phone booth, which is on the other side of the school.
Yeah. Iris follows Dorian and Jennifer. Like, she is just as curious about this. I mean, despite the tactless way of expressing that information, it's not something that concerns her or like I can't find a better word, but bamboozles her. But basically, she's mystified as well. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So she wants to know. She follows Dorian and Jennifer.
All right. And Hope?
So I hope, I think Hope would follow Kane then.
All right.
Because maybe although her first reaction was to remember the Holy Fire cult, maybe she also is not free of suspicions about Kane either. After all, she has seen him float above his bed and whatnot, so maybe she wants to follow up on that.
All right. Well, let's start with that scene. So Kane leans up against the wall and starts to smoke. Is that right?
Yeah.
And you see Hope is walking over towards you.
Okay.
I think in classic Hope fashion, he should notice her only when she's standing right in front of him, not before.
Right.
Oh, is it the thing where like the camera is on me and like you can barely tell that like a shadow kind of goes across the wall and then the camera pans over a little bit and you're just leaning up against the wall right next to me and I didn't even notice. It's like, oh yeah. Hope.
Oh, and Iris lights Dorian's cigarette for him.
Beautiful. Hope, do you say anything to Kane?
Yeah. So how did it go with the police and all that? Are you all right now?
I think so. They stopped asking questions, so I guess that's something.
And you don't happen to know what's that about with Michael?
I think Kane is genuinely worried. Like, I don't know if I have anything to do with Michael, and I'm terrified, but I don't want to tell Hope that. I think I have to keep my cool here, probably.
Right. So what are you afraid of?
I'm afraid of revealing that I don't know. Revealing my doubts, what's the word?
Just like self-suspicions.
Yeah, my suspicions about myself.
Yeah. Cool. Well, roll with cold, I think.
Roll with a -1. There's a 7.
So on a 7 to 9, the MC will tell you how your actions would leave you vulnerable, and you can choose to back down or go through with it. So, yeah, I mean, I think again, you can back down, so you can just clam up and not answer, and that's going to work. But if you go ahead and deny it, Hope is going to realize not exactly what's going on, but there's something unnatural, something eldritch about you.
Okay, so my choices are to clam up and not say anything, or to basically get the guarantee that there's some eldritch something and that is the focus instead. Am I interpreting that correctly?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think this is the maybe I don't climb up, but I kind of snap back.
Mhm.
And just screw you. What do you? Why? Why would I know anything? Just as confused as everybody hears.
Do you feel like you're in this moment you're aggressive enough to be shutting someone down, or is it more like a defensive movement?
I think this is defensive, and I don't know that I'm necessarily trying to shut Hope down as much as I am as the failure state of the move, kind of pissing her off.
Yeah. Okay. Hope, what do you say?
She's unfazed, I think. She doesn't get discouraged easily. Look, I just want to I just want you to know that if you're having troubles, we can help. Me and Dorian, we can always.
Yeah, you and Dorian. Yeah, so helpful. Now I think I am trying to shut this down. I think.
Yeah,
the persistence is no.
All right, I'll roll with cold again.
I don't actually have any strings on Hope. I thought I would, but I don't. Yeah, so I roll with cold again. There's the 4. All right.
Okay, so you in this moment, I think what happens is that your words, you start to say something quite aggressive, but the words almost like wither up in your mouth because you notice, in the distance, but clearly watching you, two of those buff, nerdy men that you saw at the drive-in with Iris the other day. And we'll cut now to Dorian and Iris. As you walk across the school towards the phone booth behind Jen, she is kind of visibly annoyed at the two of you, so she's deliberately staying a couple of paces ahead if she can. Do the two of you exchange any words as you head over there?
I think before we get too close to Jen, Dorian just turns to Iris and just looks her in the eye and says, I know he's dead. I totally believe you. I can't feel him anymore either. But this is going to freak Jen out, so we need to figure out how to play it cool. I mean, I'm freaking out. So Jen is definitely going to freak out. Can you do that? Iris, can you do that?
Yeah.
All right. I think if she's not going to get a hold of him when she calls, we just say, okay, that's fine. I don't know. I can't go back and play right now, but we gotta go. I don't know. Maybe we go to his house or something. I don't know. Maybe we do have to go back and play to keep Jen cool. I don't know. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like something dark is swirling around this town. Something. I'm sure you've always known that, and I'm sure there's something Kane's not telling us. But for my sake, for my part, I can tell you that some people are after me.
Wait, what did? Wait, there's people after you, and what? Kane isn't telling us what, dude.
I
I,
can't.
what do you know, Iris? Do you
I
know?
don't
Do you know what happened to
look. Look.
Michael?
Look. Don't raise your voice at me like I'm the problem. I'm telling you. I'm telling you what I know and what I don't know. And I know that that Kane is not telling us something. And so since you and everybody else seem to know him better than I do, I'm saying is that you need to find out what's going on with him. But I sure as hell have tried, and he's not telling me anything. And as for Michael, it's just something I feel, and the people after me is just something I know. Now, Kane and I encountered, and I tell Dorian like about, you know, the jacked up pencil pushers that show up.
Whoa. What? Why are they after you though?
They're the people who made me the way I am, and don't ask me to explain any more than that.
Dorian takes like a step back and is just like, made you. All right, I don't got time for that right now. Look, keep it. I'm gonna go talk to Kane. You keep an eye on Jennifer for me. I'll be back in a minute. If Kane knows something, I'm gonna get it out of him.
All right.
Yeah.
And I come closer to Jennifer. Like she's on the phone, right?
No, she just gets to the phone booth now as Dorian kind of turns back. She picks up the
Yeah.
phone, she dials a number, she starts to wait.
So because phone booths exist in this universe, and because they are large and totally serviceable for filming in a movie or a TV show, I go into the phone booth with Jennifer, and as she's got the phone, I do the cool '80s thing of putting my elbow or or my forearm on the other side of the phone while watching her put the coins in.
Yeah, so she puts the coins in, and then you see her like she gets an annoyed expression on her face. She plays with the receiver a little bit, then she hangs it up. Says, "That's weird. The phone's not working." And she tries the same thing in the next phone booth, and you realize that
I'll check the phones too, by the way.
yeah, so the
She might not
phones
be fucking with me.
somebody has disconnected the phones here, and you realize that if the project was coming for you, this is one of the ways that they would prepare for the approach.
Okay, literally, I don't know what your plan is, Shane, but literally, I am looking around and waiting for the first moment that me and Jennifer have to jump to the ground.
Okay, well, let's take our first break here. We'll come back at 10 minutes past the hour.
Can you hack it? Dorian asks. It's
Right? It's the 80s. Maybe you can hack telephones. I don't know. You're a robot.
oh, you can no, you get a box of Cracker Jack, and it comes with those whistles. You know the story? And there's a whistle in there. Somebody figured out that if you blow into it, it makes the same noise as a tone that would reset the phone and give you operator access so that you could start making long distance calls free. It was called phone freaking, with the freak spelled with a PH.
The world is a marvelous place. What can I say?
I think hacking was hilarious before hacking was wild before the world converted fully to digital, because there was all sorts of like social engineering and well, with a piece of paper clips and a noisemaker I can do this.
You're saying you miss MacGyver?
I actually grew up during MacGyver, but I don't think I watched it as nearly as much as I should have. Maybe for me, my explanation for that, it was too real.
All right. Are we good to? Is everyone good to continue?
Yeah.
Cool. So, Kane, you've just noticed these project agents. You don't know that's exactly who they are, but you know they're bad news. And you see that Dorian is walking back towards where you and Hope are. What do you do?
He is walking back, and he left Iris alone.
He left Iris and Jen alone together.
That's not good. Oh. Kane isn't like prepared to deal with this right now. Especially since Hope is still like probably badgering me.
Yeah, and she can be like, "Oh, good, he's coming over here right now. We can all talk about it and figure something out together."
Yeah, no, I don't think that's gonna happen. Sorry, Hope. And I just like kind of like point behind Hope at the guys.
Yeah. I mean, Hope might notice them briefly before they kind of duck back behind a building. They just look like guys to you. You know, they were wearing short sleeve shirts. They didn't look very remarkable. Dorian, you probably walk up right about this time.
Sorry, one more thing. So the look of the guys doesn't trigger my trauma instantly?
No, it does not.
Okay.
It's a good question.
Good question.
Kane, do you know? Yeah, you, Kane. Do you know what happened to Michael? Or do you have any reason to think that you might know what happened to Michael? And I'm going to spin a string.
Oh, okay.
To have you tell me.
So what are you offering here? Or are you trying to? Are you spending it to roll better on persuading me, or are you tempting me with something?
So, I assume that this is the mechanic where you offer an XP to do what you want.
I was wondering if Dorian was going to offer something different, but XP is fine.
I can tempt maybe to give you what you want. I don't know if it'll work, but if not, take the XP. Look, Dorian. I know I've been a dick, and I'm sorry. But like, Michael's a friend of mine, and so if you know anything, I need you to help me with this. And I know there's a little bit of stuff between you and Jen, and that I was a little bit jealous, and I'm sorry I got all up in your face last time.
Wait. Hold on. What's between me and Jen?
Oh, I just seen you guys like looking at each other.
What are you talking about?
You did that whole look back thing last week, and anyway.
Kane is finally like putting two and two together in his head about all the looks that he's been getting all week. Oh.
Anyway, that's all besides the point. For some reason, some people think you might know something about Michael.
I don't know anything about Michael. I promise I don't know anything about Michael. And
Look, I need your help, man. And I'm gonna put my hand on your shoulder and look you like straight in the eyes.
I think that is potentially gazing into the abyss. Do you want to roll it, or is this me rolling it?
I'm fine to roll it if that's allowable.
I was imagining that this would be me, like looking for my memories type deal, and trying to see if there's anything there.
Sure. Yeah, you can roll that.
All right, so that is sorry, plus dark.
Yeah.
All right, so that's my good stat. That's a 9. Which it seems appropriate.
Yep. So on a 7 to 9, the abyss shows you confusing and alarming visions, but you get your answer nonetheless. So you get your answer, and really, it seems like your question was, did I kill Michael? And the answer that you get to that is no. The confusing and alarming vision that you get is a huge green grinning devil's face, and it's confusing and alarming to you because you feel Papazottle's not only rage and fury towards this vision, but also some real fear. And you have never sensed before that your patron could be scared by anything, really.
Yeah. I think I love maybe the idea of like Dorian is like kind of pushing up to me and like, did you do this? And then we have this moment of eye contact, and then I go staggering backwards.
You fucking did. You fucking do know something. Did you fucking kill him, Kane?
I swear I didn't kill him. And I like kind of squint back at you and it doesn't happen again, as I'm like trying to look at Dorian again.
Hope, what do you do as this is going on?
Yeah,
you wanted to be the peacemaker before.
Yeah, I think the moment they start getting into it, the two strong personalities that they are, I think they completely stop noticing me. It's like I disappear, standing right next to them. So I thought maybe I can let them deal with that themselves and sneak off instead to find out what the agents are doing at that moment.
Okay, so you're heading towards where you saw the agents.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I am a big fan of Hope right now.
Because I've seen the reaction that they caused in Kane, so now I'm definitely intrigued.
Yeah, so I think you'll like follow them back behind some buildings that they were standing half behind. They're not there anymore. You can sort of see their tracks in the grass. You can see that some heavy men have walked a certain direction, like back around the buildings. Do you want to like pursue the way they went?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I do.
So I'll come back to Hope in a minute, but I just want to
Mm-hmm.
go back to Iris first. So Iris, you realize that the phones have been cut. You realize that surely means that the project is here, and immediately you realize that there are a dozen agents in pairs, in defensive positions. They're in doorways, ducked behind the corners of buildings. They're all around you. They're all heavily armed. What do you do?
First of all, I, as a human player, mortal, are screaming internally. um, hmm, um, I guess the first thing I do is try to find even before I acknowledge them, like Iris is already trying to figure out how to get out of here, and she's also sort of like lowering her hand to grab Jennifer's and get her to safety. Also, props. I do love the name. The project. Let's call it the project. It's very.
Oh. Well, I think that what you assess is that, like, Iris is was created to kill. If she needs to, she may be able to take out all 12 of them before they can hit her. But she might get hurt. Jen might get hurt. But you think ultimately you could take them.
You know what? I like the prompt that you're giving me here. I think this is what
I do want to give you another option before you decide.
Okay, so we've tried to exit before, and we've done that. Like cinematically speaking, we've done the exit before, and that played out pretty cool, especially because of Kane. So I think let's just make this cinematically more interesting. I shoved Jennifer into a janitor's closet or a locker or the bathroom or something like that.
Yeah. Shove her down behind some steps.
Yeah, and the other thing that Iris hopefully would like to do is to get into the vents or any other, and try to pick these agents off one by one, like stealthily rather than in an open assault.
Okay, so yeah. So you see that they're moving in just as you get to the vents. I'm just going to get you to roll like a single lash out physically move to cover the whole of this encounter.
Yeah,
so
me human Matthew player has played enough Deus Ex and Dishonored for this. Let's see if Iris can live up to that.
So roll with volatile.
All right, roll with volatile. Let's see. Ooh, -1. Let's see. All right. Gonna set up that roll. I should organize my tabs properly. Create a roll. And rolling 12.
Hey.
Oh my gosh.
All right. On a 10 up, you deal them harm and they choke up momentarily before they react. So is your goal here to kill the agents or just to disable them so that you can get away?
I don't mean to be wishy-washy here, but the way I see it is that it doesn't matter if they're dead or not to Iris at this point. So, but definitely just bare minimum disabling.
Yeah. So I mean, I think in that case that you do kill them. Do you want to describe this montage of Iris popping in and out of the vents around these hapless Project Disposable goons?
Yeah, sure. We're going for a PG, sort of like a PG-13 violence here. So when she emerges from various points, they're all they're not graphically violent, but they're decisively fatal stuff. Neck snapping, strangling, all that stuff. So at one point, she comes up from above. Other times, she runs out from a bathroom and slides underground and takes out two of them, then chokes them with her legs, that kind of stuff.
Okay. So while this is all happening, I'll come back to Hope in a minute, but Dorian and Kane, you definitely hear gunshots. Because some of these guys are getting shots off before Iris is able to take them out.
It's a Saturday, right?
Yeah. So the school's empty, except for all of you. And you hear gunfire, which you certainly don't normally hear around the school. What do you do?
I immediately, because it's coming from the direction that Jennifer went in, right?
Yeah, more or less.
I immediately reach out for Jennifer and go straight into her thoughts to see what she's seeing.
Yeah, so you feel her like react to the gunshot as well, like she's she's frightened by the loud bang. She's a little disoriented, but she doesn't feel physically hurt to you.
Yeah, I was gonna like gaze into the abyss to like actually like see what's going through her head, like, and see where she is, if that's
Sure. Yeah. Oh. All right. So yeah, I mean, her thoughts just seem too chaotic. You don't think you can really push your way into them at this point. You, yeah, I mean, I think it seems unavoidable to me. A stray bullet like comes out of the building, and just grazes your arm for one harm. But certainly it hurts a lot, and it feels like being shot.
Yeah, I think it's the most pain Dorian's ever felt in his life. I don't think
Yeah.
he's even ever like broken a bone or anything. So
Yeah, I think Kane is like grabbing you and like dropping to the ground type deal. And like, I think this is the moment where I reach out for Hope, and Hope's just not there. Whatever.
I mean, sorry, go on.
I just want to say that between Kane grabbing my hand from the last session and you and Kane like knocking Dorian down, I keep thinking of Kane as the Terminator for some reason. Come with me if you want to live. Get down.
If only he looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I mean, I wonder if like sort of throwing your body over Dorian to push him to the ground might mean turning someone on. What do you think?
Sure, I'll roll it, I guess.
I mean, if this was a movie, that's definitely a beat, right?
You're bleeding all over the place, screaming in agony.
yeah, I'm like
he's screaming out of all proportion to the bleeding. The bleeding is quite minor.
Okay.
But I'm also like freaked out for Jennifer, and then I'm also thinking about Jennifer, and then
my gosh. Yeah, reaching into Jennifer's head.
How many ons have you turned, Kane?
I think
this
maybe
entire campaign?
A lot.
Maybe I catch a stray thought of Jennifer like wishing you were there.
It's a 6, but I do have a string on you, so I'm gonna spend that to bump that up to a 7.
Okay, so Dorian can either choose to give you a string or choose one of those reactions.
Well then, I think this is like the you land physically like on top of me moment, right?
Yeah.
Our faces are just like really close, and I think Dorian's just like on his back and stunned for a second, and then just looks. I'm going with I give myself to you, so.
A passionate kiss? Is that what we're gonna say?
I think so. I think he's just like there's like fuck. I'm about to die. I just got shot. Let's go for this and make the last second.
Sure. Kane is very confused. Like I just tried to save you. Why? Like okay. It's nice, but not what I was expecting.
I mean, I wonder if Dorian should roll a reverse, turn someone on to see how Kane reacts to the pash. Cool. Do you want to spend a string? Do you have a string to spend?
Get back to the right screen. Yeah, I got 2 strings to spend, so I will definitely spend a string.
All right, so Kane gets the same choice to give a string or choose one of the reactions.
Yeah, no.
As Dorian dives in tongue first.
I think I love this. I think Kane is definitely like okay with this, but not right now. And I think Kane's kind of self-preservation instincts are a little higher. And so I'm definitely get embarrassed and act awkward. Like, okay, whoa, okay, like roll, like awkwardly, like try and roll off of you. Not.
I think Dorian tries to roll back on top of you.
Oh, are you okay? This is
Well,
this
no,
is.
I mean, I guess there's gunshots going off, so he'll let you roll off, but kind of lets his hand drag across your cheek as you go.
All right. So I just want to cut to Hope for a sec. So Hope, you're following these guys around the back of some other buildings when you hear gunfire break out, and then a moment later, you sense intuitively that Dorian is hashing someone else. Just the connection that you guys have established. What do you do?
Well, I'm happy for Dorian.
Well, that's great. It's very mature.
I don't really. I don't think Hope saw a lot of future there, and I think she knows Dorian should find someone with a pulse. Somebody so there can be some future together, and I think she's fine with it. It's also it's good. It's not Jennifer. That's another wrinkle there.
Right.
But well, if there's gunshots, then maybe depends. If I see the agents and I can maybe gain some information about what they're planning, I'll follow them. But if they're far away and I would have to move away from the school too much, then I would go back to check up on everyone after the gunshots.
Yeah, so I think you can like get up to some of the agents, at your choice, either some agents who are still moving towards Iris haven't been killed yet, or some bodies that you might be able to search. I'm glad I searched the body into my Monsterhearts game. Are you targeting like a dead agent or a living agent?
I would like to end up where Iris is and witness her wrecking shit all over the place.
So I think even though you're dead, you're going to have to roll to keep your cool to continue.
Of course.
You may not have a pulse, but you still feel.
Cold. Luckily, I have +2 cold.
Eight. So on a 7 to 9, the MC will tell you how your actions would leave you vulnerable, and you can choose to back down or go through with it. So I think that you can like close in. You can be there for the final moment when Iris dispatches the last of the agents, but Iris is going to see one of the bullets go right through you and know that you're know everything. Are you going to go through with that or back down?
I will because I think I'm transfixed by the view of Iris in her element, basically. And would that count as observing her in a private moment when she's killing people like she was supposed to when she was created?
I see Matthew nodding. Does that sound right to you?
I would say just to go into that would count as the mechanic that you are trying to invoke.
Yeah,
I remember reading it on your sheet, and I also want to add that Iris has not openly like refrains from openly displaying this much level of violence before, and I think that would count as a turn someone on move for you. Like she appreciates, or she she likes being seen, and not and for it not to induce revulsion in others.
Okay.
So Iris is going to roll to turn someone on.
No, I mean,
am I
with
supposed
this
to
exhibitionistic display?
I think it should be Hope who rolls to turn someone on for Iris.
Okay. For looking at you without any judgment or revulsion at your natural state of being a killer, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I took the string, following up on what we said before.
Yeah.
And I'm rolling right now. But my hot is -1. So
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
nice.
So you
really like being observed while you're killing people.
Well, the important component I mentioned earlier was that she's not being judged. Like to me, like the way I see it is that because Hope accepts it for what it is, it's,
Yeah.
yeah. And so you gain a string, and you get to choose a reaction.
No, you, Matthew, choose one of those reactions.
Oh, I choose a reaction. My mistake. So
that's right.
I gain a second string now.
Yes,
right?
yes.
That's efficient.
Making up for lost time. I think. I think Iris gets embarrassed and acts awkward. So she, as she finishes off the last person, she tries to sort of like, pull back, and sort of like, straightens her hair and her, back from her forehead, and tries to play it cool, basically. Like, oh, nothing really happened. Like when you catch a cat, and a cat is like, I wasn't doing anything. Like that. Exactly right.
All right, so let's come back to you guys in a minute. Dorian and Kane, what do you do like after you kind of recover from the ground?
Dorian,
I think
kind of gets up and offers Kane a hand, and then pulls out 2 cigarettes.
I think I take the hand. Maybe I don't let go. And like we need to get out of here. Like we can't stick around.
No, we got to get Jennifer out of here. She's in that building, man.
Oh, did Jesse come out?
Jesse, yeah, I guess Jesse is like just standing around by both of you, like crouched down, kind of hiding.
Did Jesse witness makeout session?
What a good question. You're not sure. Jesse may have seen.
Okay, fine. I guess we are gonna go, and I don't want to go in there. I guess we're gonna go find Jennifer.
She's terrified, man.
You seem to know what you're doing, so I'm just gonna follow you guys.
So you haven't heard a gunshot for a bit. It seems like whatever's going on might have come to an end, but you're still walking towards a building where you've heard shots. I think one of you should roll to keep your cool, just to like approach. I think maybe because Dorian is kind of leading the action, it makes sense that it's you. Does that sound all right?
Sure.
Oh. All right. Well, let's come back to you as the two of you try and approach the building. Iris, like you are in this building with Hope. You feel a little bashful, I guess, about having been seen. You also have 12 dead bodies to deal with. What's Iris's response to that? What does she plan to do?
Well, I would say that in the backstory for Iris, I don't think she's ever had to kill that many people ever since she's escaped in a long time. So, well, not a long time, but since she's escaped, and I don't think body disposal is a thing she would really, take into consideration. However, there is a lot of people. Yeah. I just go up to. I get up. Iris gets up and tries to walk past Hope, and before so she just walks past Hope, pretending not to really care, trying to play cool, I guess. But before she goes out of range, she sort of looks back at Hope a little bit, and smirks a small concealed past the shoulder smile, and then turns to the door where I guess she would expect Jennifer to be. Opens the bathroom door or the janitor's closet or whatever we want it to be, and goes "You can come out now."
Yeah, so Jen is just like, "What the fuck is going on? I heard gunshots." She's freaked out, but she's not hurt.
Mm-mm.
Can I ask something? Does witnessing Iris killing people trigger my trauma?
So it's got to be something that reminds you of your death, right?
Mm-hmm.
So no, it doesn't.
Okay. So in that case, if I don't get traumatized by this sight, I would like Matthew to maybe roll turn on me for that smirk that he sent my way.
Okay, sure, no problem. Let's see, Roman would I kind of wish there was a way to get Roman to save all the rolls we have made.
Yeah.
On the bright side, it does actually, the Google Chrome browser does actually remember some of the things I've typed. Just inputting them all over again is the thing. And roll.
7.
Huh. Wait a minute. 5. That was supposed to be a +2.
Yeah, so you've rolled a 5 and you've got +2 for a 7, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. All right.
So, Hope, will you give Iris a string or will you choose a reaction?
Huh.
Let me. Oh, Iris has got some strings on me already. I would like to choose promise something I think you want, but what would Hope assume Iris wants? Something in the line of don't worry, I won't tell anyone that you killed all those people.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And I'm following her, basically taking her lead and following her to the hiding place where Jennifer was.
Yeah. So
okay.
No, sorry. Go ahead.
I kind of make it clear that I'm following her command, Iris's command at this point. That I consider her the leader in the situation, so I'm following her.
I see.
So,
Yeah.
so there's like a dead body of one of these guys just outside the door where you left Jen. You probably have to push it out of the way. I don't know if you want to like conceal it a little bit so Jen doesn't walk right into a dead body, or if that's something that Iris wouldn't consider.
I think the way I'm trying to do this is actually the whole Jennifer situation is a little bit incidental. It's like, you can come out now, and then she just sort of like, leaves, and then heads to Dorian, and
Well,
or
sorry, I just want to get a beat in before that happens.
yeah. So what we do? Sorry.
Yep. So Jen comes out, and you hear a mobile phone in the pocket of one of the agents who you've killed start to ring. It's very close by.
It's a Cold War cell phone, right? One of those big oatmeal bricks.
Yes. Sorry, you're right. It's a walkie-talkie. It's some sort of giant mobile telephone brick suitcase.
Iris sort of like picks it up, and picks it up and answers.
You recognize the voice. It's Dr. Thurber from the project, and he says, "Hello, Iris. Some of them thought that these men would be able to bring you back, but I knew better. But we do need you back, Iris. Why don't you come back to us?"
So Iris will just Iris will just drop the phone and then step on it and crush it.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
So Dorian and Kane, you probably arrive like right around this point. You all meet up again. Jesse is sort of tagging along with you as well. All of you, like, sorry, go on.
I was going to ask, do we go into an area where there are a bunch of dead bodies?
Yes. I'm picturing that you're in a school. You've entered a school corridor. There's lockers lining each side. There's classrooms. There's a janitor's closet, and there are a large number of dead bodies.
No! I can't be here. No! And Kane just like turns and just starts walking away.
Dorian grabs you by the shirt and he's like, "What's wrong? Why are you going?"
I am
Iris,
already in. The police are already questioning me about things I didn't do. I cannot be here.
Iris tries out a joke, and by a joke I mean a really awful one, which is basically like she looks at one of the bodies and just like looks at Kane, and she's still kind of pissed off about last session, right? And she goes, "Oh no, Kane, what did you do?" You're in trouble now.
This isn't funny. Like,
you were with us in D&D Club. You've got like 3 witnesses here, Kane.
Yes, 3 witnesses who are all also suspects now because we're all here. We need to leave now.
Dorian looks around for Jennifer to make sure she's okay.
Yeah, she looks okay. She looks shaken.
I tried to shut Kane down.
How do you do that?
So I'll just describe the RP bet and let me know if this fits the move. He goes like, "Listen, Kane, I know it's your style. I know you want to be as far away from trouble. I know whatever you're running from, you want to be farther away from that. But sooner or later, the darkness catches up with us. I'm not saying to rush. I'm not saying we rush, to meet our doom. But prattling on like that, like a neurotic basket case. Come on, it's coming. It's whatever you're running from. It's coming for you."
I was going to say that didn't seem like cut someone down, but then you really turned it around at the end.
Why don't you roll, and then I think Dorian might pull a hope here.
Yeah, so roll to shut someone down, roll with cold.
Okay, sure. Let's see. 2. Okay. Ah, my hands and my keyboard. Mm-hmm. That is a bump, bump,
Oh!
back in my face.
So all of you are standing in this corridor, and the door that leads out of the corridor suddenly slams shut. And then the janitor's closet door slams shut, and all of the classroom doors slam shut. None of you can see anything that could be doing this. It doesn't seem like there's a person or mechanism that could be responsible, but it does seem like something is trapping you in this corridor. Jen will look around and be like, "What the?" And you all hear. Well, I guess you probably all still have this like echoing in your ears, this like buzzing from the loudness of the gunshots that was so intense. But the buzzing is just rising. You realize the sound is getting stronger and stronger, and almost seems to take a tangible shape. A darkness that opens up in the middle of the corridor. And Dorian, you're the only one who recognizes what this thing is, this hole in space and time that's opening up in the corridor amongst you all. This is the Sphere of Annihilation that your previous character died crawling into. And it slowly starts to move. Let's just take our second break here. We'll come back 3 minutes, 3 minutes past the hour, if that's good for everyone.
I just want you to know, if I had rolled this roll with physical dice, that description would cause me to look up my physical dice and throw it in the garbage can.
Well, if you want to like bring up a new roll with me room instead, that would also work.
No need.
All right.
Had to get this back out.
Excellent. When I was prepping for this game, I was looking around like people's experiences playing Tomb of Horrors this week, and I found the most amazing Reddit thread where this guy just wrote like pages and pages of text about how badly his dungeon master had been like unfair to him. And then people debated and discussed in great detail whether or not it was actually unfair.
I think one time we played it, we had like 4 character deaths in the first hallway, like first session, and like we had to start a whole new party. So
All right, we're all back. Is everyone good to keep going? All right. So the situation is you are trapped in the school hallway with a sphere of annihilation that has just manifested among you. Jennifer and Jesse are right there with you. Just throwing it open to the group. What do you do?
Dorian goes, "Oh shit, that's a Sphere of Annihilation," and he turns and looks at Hope, and he's like, "Hope, we were just looking at this. How do we control it?" I think totally giving himself away to Jennifer that.
What does Hope say?
Oh, I know, because Hope has been getting very into D&D with Dorian, so we don't have the right party balance for this.
No. There was something like there's something like you just like use your will or something. I don't know. It's like a will saving throw.
The fuck are you guys talking about?
Jen just yells, Dorian, did you read the module?
The fuck? Yes, I read the damn module. I was so mad at you, Jen. Oh, you were so mean to me last time. I just wanted to be good at something, all right? Fuck.
Jesse is also yelling at you like, Dorian, you know that's cheating. That's such bad form. Like the Sphere of Annihilation is starting to move, and they're just mad about the D&D game.
Whatever, Jen. You know, Jen. How do you stop this thing?
What? I don't even. Jen, Jen is like losing it. She has nothing to say about this magical object that has mysteriously appeared in the world. It's moving towards. Well, I guess it's moving towards Kane.
Yeah, I think Kane is panicking. I think this is an appropriate time to again use strings attached and say, "Hey, Papa Zottle, I desperately want this thing to go away."
I like the idea of everyone yelling at Kane like moments before, but actually Kane is the one who's directly attuned to someone with answers.
Okay, so sorry, I'm just looking at the.
I can ask the Dark Power for something that I really, really want. The MC will attach a price to it and hint at an undesired twist. If I pay the price, you get what you're after.
And sorry, just to check, you're on 4 strings now, so the 5th string is gonna this will push you over.
This does not give me a string.
Okay.
The other one gives me strings.
Right.
This is just if you can assign any price you want.
Yeah. So I mean, the price is that Papa Zottle will take a 5th string on you,
Okay,
and trigger your darkest self if you want him to help with this.
I think that totally tracks for where this character is going, and I am okay with that.
Okay. So some crackling purple Well, do you want to describe what happens?
Yeah, I think this is the burning in the eyes turns into an actual like flame that is coming out around my face, and my hair is just like blowing in a wind that doesn't exist. As I kind of stride forward, like meeting this thing head on with my hand out. I don't know. Does it disappear? Does it do I redirect it and point it back, and just make it go away from the rest of the group?
That it might have been enveloped in the purple energy, and then as the energy dissipates, there's nothing there anymore.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
But Hope, this definitely does trigger your death trauma.
Okay.
The circuit, however it was that you died, the Sphere of Annihilation, it is familiar to you, you realize. What does that do mechanically?
I get a condition.
Right.
Traumatized.
Okay, so yeah, you're definitely traumatized now.
Okay.
You remember, it comes back to you, this sphere on the rocks. You were trying to avoid it. Maybe you could even see a person behind it controlling it somehow. But you can't, in this memory, you can't quite make out the face of who that person was. That's what comes back to you as Kane dissolves the sphere in the purple energy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Kane, tell us about what happens to you now.
So I think that this scene takes place inside of Kane's head. We are on a platform that is this kind of tile mosaic of this crane in flight that is kind of swirling in a circle with this blue flame coming out of its mouth and down its wings and blending into these giant, almost like flaming wings that are coming out of the back of it. And this crane is that is depicted in the mural is standing in front of Kane, who is kind of like sprawled out on the floor and slowly picks himself up. The description of the dark itself is that I find myself shivering, needy, and alone. The dark power will make some daunting, open-ended demands, and every demand fulfilled brings you closer to feeling whole again and removes one of their strings on me. And I only escape the darkest self when the dark power is out of strings or I make a bargain with somebody even more powerful.
Okay. Daunting open-ended demands. Interesting.
Can I speak out, guys? I have seen this before. I've seen something very similar on the rocks the night that, and my voice trails off because I catch myself just in time. On the rocks over the convent.
Where we met?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
No, but I meant that's where you saw it, up there.
Yes.
That night?
No, a little earlier than that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when I saw it.
There. That preacher guy was up there.
When Hope begins talking like this, I think that's literally the instant that it crosses Iris's mind to gaze into the abyss, because now she wants to know, like, how did Hope die? If she could pierce into that.
I mean, from what you've described about how you gaze into the abyss, I don't really know that you could work out from here how it happened exactly. But maybe it's something you could put together if you were to go to the location.
I see. Yeah. I think I agree with like how you moderate that influence. Yeah, but I'm also working from the assumption. So excuse me for that. The assumption that if she could, on a massive success, categorically know that Michael is dead, then maybe that's something on an extreme roll she could figure out. I think. But yeah, I think the location is a more dramatically interesting place to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jen and Jesse, like the rest of you probably, are pretty freaked out at this point. Jen says to Jesse, like, she realizes that the four of you are kind of like caught up in some weird shit right now. She's like, "Come on, Jesse, we gotta call the police, and go to leave."
I think Kane, after the fire goes out, just kind of passes out on the floor.
Okay. Dorian's gonna run after Jen and be like, "Whoa, Jen, hold on. These are our friends. Let's think this through real quick."
Dorian, there are dead bodies. There was that thing. There was purple magic. What the fuck? Gotta call the police.
Right, but we're all here. Like, what are we gonna tell them? There's fucking magic in the hallway?
I'm gonna tell them there's dead bodies in the hallway. The Iris says Michael's dead. That there's more dead people. What do you want us to do?
I don't know. I want us to go find Michael, but maybe he is dead. I just don't want us. I don't know. You're right.
Is this Sphere of Annihilation like sucking things in, or?
Well, it's gone now. You didn't really get to see what it could do exactly.
Okay.
Shit, what? Can we just go back to my place for a second and talk about this or something?
If you have a string to spend, then you can do that to tempt her.
Yeah, I'll do that.
I ask Hope, while Dorian's having this, I asked Hope to show me to show Iris the rocks, to take us to that place.
Okay.
Like these losers, these losers think they're gonna get answers in Dorian's house. I don't think, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think I'll spend the string just to like keep them with us. We don't have to like go back to like I don't know if it makes sense to split the party or whatever, but
In the meantime, I think Hope kneeled down right next to Kane to make sure that he's okay. She's maybe trying to how do you say, help him come to.
Yeah.
I flank Kane with you, so I want it so that when Kane wakes up, he's looking at the two of us.
I think
And-
that it's like my eyes are open and I'm breathing and I'm very clearly still alive, but I'm just completely unresponsive.
Mhm.
Like you could wave your hand in front of my face and nothing happens.
So while I'm checking up on Kane, I respond to Iris. Yeah, I think we should go there right now before this happens again and someone else might get hurt.
So Sam, I'm happy for you to like tell us whenever it seems right for you that Kane comes to.
Well, I'm liking the idea of maybe like we all go back to Dorian's place and have the scene of the two of us, Jennifer and Jesse, and the other two go off and do their thing. I would be okay with that.
Yeah, I think that's cool. I can say to Jennifer and Jesse, like, look, I know you two think that you're not part of this, but you are. Like, there's stuff I have to tell you. Like, just help me pick up Kane, and let's go back to my place, and I'll try to tell you what I can.
Okay.
But before we split, I think Hope will definitely look at Dorian. Hey, Dorian, are you coming?
Hope.
We have to go investigate.
Yeah, we'll catch up, but I want to take care of Kane first.
And maybe she's a little hurt at first, but then she thinks about it and she nods her head. I understand.
That's beautiful.
I just want to ask, does she actually understand?
In her way, yeah. Yeah, like I said before, it makes much more sense for two living people to be
Okay, I just want to be sure that it wasn't the sarcastic I see, I understand.
No, she's not. Can she be sarcastic? I'm not sure.
All right. Is there anything else that any of you want to say to each other before you split off? All right. So, Iris and Hope. Oh, sorry. What were you going to say?
I'm so sorry. No, you asked for, if there's anything to say, and belatedly I came up with something, which is, don't summon Acereric while we're gone. or Orcus, or,
All right. So Iris and Hope, you like head down to the spot up by the rocks. So I guess at this point it's probably still like quite early in the day on a Saturday, and Hope is able to lead Iris pretty easily up to that spot, the spot where you fell. What are the two of you do once you're up there?
I would like to once again stand on the very edge of the cliffs, like I did when I met Dorian there. But this time I wanted, because back then I got this flashback to my death, and I got traumatized, and I lost control of myself a little. And now I want to like really focus and center myself and look down even at the bottom of the precipice. I don't know how to say it.
Is this like sunset, or are we talking like afternoon?
It must be still the morning, right? Like not that much time has passed since you arrived at D&D.
That's true. It wasn't a full school day, so yeah.
So I would like to stand there and really try to get in touch with my senses and gaze into the abyss to maybe.
Is there a way to support Hope, like not purely an assist role, but just assist her? Because this is what I want to do. when Hope steps into on the edge of her rocks and centers herself, and tries to tune, Iris attempts to step into the same space as Hope,
Mhm.
hoping that she can gaze into the abyss with her or whatever.
Oh, cool!
Yeah.
And when Hope sees you stand beside her, I think maybe she reaches out and grabs your hand again, but this time it's a very different. It signifies something much different than before, because
Mhm.
now she feels that connection between the two of you.
Yeah.
But back then in the doorway, it was like covering up almost for what she is and trying to get past the moment so that Iris doesn't think too hard about her. But right now it's about that shared connection that they discovered. I like it.
Not to get all Anne Rice about it, but the way I see it is like on the one hand, Iris really means to help Hope here in connecting with her trauma. But on the other hand, Iris is also kind of using her in a sense that she's hoping that by stepping into the space with Hope, she can feel like a greater, like a more cathartic connection with death. Uh, and in that sense, I think Hope is going to have to roll turn someone on for Iris.
Okay. So do we roll for gazing into the abyss first, or
Let's start with turning someone on.
okay?
I mean, I hope this also, like, Shane, like, I hope this also, like, if there's a mechanical way of helping, like, the
So
gaze with
there is explicitly no mechanic for helping in Monsterhearts. Like
I know this. Yeah, I know this.
there's ways to shut someone down, ways to turn someone on. There is no way to help another character.
You know what I'm
Amir,
do? I'm gonna look into the string and see what can be done about that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you want to use? Do you have a string that you could use to bring that up to? Yep, you want to do that.
I would like that. Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Matthew, you have a choice of whether Iris will give Hope a string or choose one of the reactions from the list.
All right. I think. I kind of want to do both. I kind of want to give a string and something, but let's see.
I think that the rules do explicitly say you can always just give someone a string if you think that's if that's what makes sense for your character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what? I'll give the string, and also, Iris gives herself to Hope.
Oh my god! Like a big pash on the rocks, right on the spot where Hope fell to her death. What a dramatic moment!
That's nice.
All right, I will come back to the two of you. I'll just leave you there a minute to enjoy your embrace. Dorian, Kane, is there anything that you want to have happen on your way back to Dorian's house, or are we going to just set the scene there?
I'm good with setting the scene there. The one thing I would like, I think maybe Kane has been awake for like a couple of minutes and is like coming back to like conversation level.
I want to preface with the fact that you fell into a pool of blood while you were laying on the floor, and we have since stripped you naked, and you are laying under the sheets in my bed, and your clothes are burning in the fireplace.
Burning, wow. So your parents aren't home, Dorian? Is that what I'm getting?
Mm-hmm.
And Kane, as you wake, like you just hear
with you, Sam. Sorry.
That is okay with Sam. Kane is feeling very traumatized right now.
Kane, you also wake up with like a demand from Papazotl just sort of throbbing in your head. Like Papazotl has asked you to do things before, or sort of like negotiated about things, but this has the feeling, of a demand rather than anything that you can negotiate about. And the demand is find the true entrance. Just those 4 words, over and over again. So you wake up naked in someone's bed, not yours. Sorry, is it actually Dorian's bed, or is it a spare room or something? Like, where have you
No, it's
stashed
Dorian.
Kane?
It's Dorian's bed.
Yeah.
And
You
like
probably can figure that out pretty quickly from what's.
I don't know if Kane's like all the way naked, but we definitely like took off like probably your shirt and your pants and stuff. Maybe you have your underwear on. You can come.
Yeah, I think that's, especially since Jennifer and Jesse are both there.
Yeah. Are the three of you like in the room, or if you like left him to sleep it off? Like, where are the others?
No, I think we're like sitting, kind of like talking in hushed tones, and I'm trying to like apologize to both of them for reading the rules, and like awkwardly trying to explain that like we have more of a connection than just like playing D&D. And then I'm also like really trying to apologize to Jennifer about like being such a dick last time we played, and like trying to explain like Dorian's effed up rationale for that. So so that's to trigger my sympathy move as well. So
Okay.
So I get a string back on Jennifer.
Cool.
But that's, yeah.
All right. And Kane, you wake up. What do you do?
I think Kane wakes up and isn't quite himself yet. And so the only thing that's in his head right now is that command. And so I think I immediately like get up out of the bed, and maybe there's a window. And so like I just walk to the window and start trying to climb out the window.
And we like jump up and like grab him, like, whoa, Kane, what are you doing?
Entrance. Find the entrance. Find.
Oh my god, I think he's lost it.
And I'm like blinking and shaking my head. What? Where am I?
You're in my room. Sorry about your
It
clothes.
hurts.
You were covered in blood. I got you a couple of my dad's things because, like, sorry, but I'm like way skinnier than you are, bud. Those are
And
some.
he like looks down like, oh, God. Are you like holding the things, or are they like somewhere else in the room?
He like points. They're like over on the chair.
He like scrambles across the room, frantically trying to put on these clothes.
What do Dorian's dad's clothes look like? I'm imagining like khaki chinos and a polo shirt. Is that?
Yeah, totally.
And they're all way too big.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think Dorian's dad is like a businessman and like probably is like a little bit heavy set, whereas Dorian like barely eats and he's just like super thin.
Yeah, right. I like that. And so I'm wearing this like these oversized pants that I have to like cinch up, and it's like Jinko jeans before they were a thing, and just like this huge baggy polo that's basically a V all the way down to like my chest bone, because it just doesn't. It's so, the collar is so wide.
Does your chest hair like wave in the air like your other hair does?
Maybe it might have.
Is this a Ferris Bueller outtake?
Like the four chest hairs that I have at this point.
So Jen and Jesse are both kind of asking about like who were those guys. That's what's on their mind at this point. I don't know if either of you want to respond.
I saw them before when I was when I ran into Iris before. I have no idea what their deal is. I know that they were chasing her.
Do you think they had something to do with that crazy black ball thing and Michael disappearing?
I don't know. I don't think so. They didn't feel like that thing felt different. The weird like accountant guys feel like some weird government conspiracy nonsense, but they're not like that abyss ball thing type magic nonsense.
How did you make the abyss ball go away with your hand?
I didn't.
You did. You put your hand out and walked forward and it went away.
My body did that. I didn't do that.
And who did do that?
You don't want to know.
I think Dorian takes a step back. And he's just like, okay, well, what the hell do we do now?
I need to find the entrance. And you guys can help me or not, but I need to go.
What entrance? Entrance to what?
I don't know.
Front door is down there. You don't have to go out the window.
I think I know that. I will say I think this has to do with figuring out what that ball was, and I think we might get some questions about what happened to Michael. Might get some answers about what happened to Michael.
Well, we know what that ball was, kind of. That was a Sphere of Annihilation. What does that have to do with Michael?
I don't know what that is. But it's not good, and it shouldn't exist.
Okay, well, how are we going to find out what happened to Michael then? Do you have an idea?
I have no clue. But I have a project. I have what's the word that you kept using? A quest. That's what you kept using.
Okay, a quest. So we're gonna do D&D in real life. Great. Well, here.
This is your club. This is your nerdy thing. I'm trying to make this more appealing to you guys. As I'm putting on a coat over this way too big shirt.
I'm gonna hand you my copy of the Tomb Horrors. Maybe you find something in here.
As you take it in your hand, there's a mild rumbling, like a tiny little earth tremor or something like that.
Does everybody feel it or just me?
Oh yeah, you all feel it. It's not. It's subtle, but you all feel it.
I think if I can end the scene, I think the scene opens I open the page up and it's just the green smiling devil is immediately the first page I open up to, and I look straight at Dorian and just my face drops.
All right. So I'm going to hop back over then to Iris and Hope. So you guys have been pashing on the rocks for a moment. You finally break away from each other.
Yeah, and then after that long embrace, Hope says, as sincerely as she can, "Thank you for being here with me," to Iris. And I believe Iris has just helped me resolve my traumatized condition by her
Wow,
emotional support.
That's impressive tongue work. That's great. Absolutely.
And this means we both get an XP.
Cool.
Yes, level up.
Hey. And I hope, I
Mhm.
know you were thinking about gazing into the abyss.
Yeah.
Well, I know you both were. I think it makes sense for me that in this moment it's Hope that gazes into the abyss. If you want to roll the move.
Okay, so like I said before, I stand on the edge. I squeeze Iris's hand and look down and try to relive that moment, basically. And it's dark +1, and I really hope I don't botch this roll because this moment is so epic.
7.
Oh, it's yeah. I didn't change the name, but it's the new roll.
That's okay. So confusing and alarming visions, but you get your
Mhm.
answer nonetheless. So sorry, can you tell me again, like what specifically it was that you were trying to find out?
How did I die?
Okay. So it does come back to you now. Just like you remembered it in the hallway, the Sphere of Annihilation, seemingly out of nowhere, someone behind it standing there, their face obscured, the sphere like pressing towards you, you losing your balance, like falling backwards, calling out for help. I imagine your fingers kind of like flicking through the air, trying to steady yourself, and then plummeting down. And when you look down now, you can see a body at the bottom of the cliff where you must have fallen, but you can see that the body is not yours. You're too high up to identify it, but there's another body lying in the rocks below.
I point the body out to Iris to make sure she sees that as well. I think it happened again. There's someone there.
Iris tries to climb down the rocks, I guess, to see.
Yeah, so you kind of have to go around. Like, there's a way to get down there to like clamber over the rocks and stuff like that. Is Hope going to go too?
I think so. Yeah. I think they are operating as a team now, so she will follow.
All right. So yeah, you approach the body, and even at a short distance, you can see that it's Michael.
Yeah, try to investigate, see what happened to describe Michael. I guess are his eyes open? Like is pale? Is like how long has he been dead or not? Or whatever.
Yeah, I think his eyes are still open. He looks like he hasn't been there for very long. He clearly fell to his death from above, from the same spot you were just looking down from. There's no sign of any other injury or trauma or anything like that, but his body's been pretty badly broken by the fall.
Okay, so Iris puts her hands one on sort of like on Michael's chest, like I guess the space between the shoulder and the first pectoral, I guess, and then the other one on with her thumb across his Adam's apple, and the rest of the fingers just draped across the neck, and tries to see what happened and gazes into the abyss.
Okay, sure. Let's roll it.
Let's roll. That is an 8.
All right. Confusing and alarming visions. Let's see. So I think you get you see something that is like a sort of partial answer. Like you don't get anything directly. You kind of look up, you look around, you try and figure it out. That there's something that you just can't quite tell, something that you're not quite getting. But then you happen to glance over to the convent, the former nunnery that's now the Holy Fire Ministry, and you see a jacked man in a pencil pushing type sleeveless shirt walking out of the convent and getting into a car to drive away. You realize there's some sort of connection between the ministry and the project.
I'd also like to ask Shane, like, I depending on when advancement occurs, if it
Mhm.
occurred immediately at the time that I
Yeah.
scored 5,
Sure.
then I have something to expand on this role, which is
Oh.
when you gaze into the abyss on a 7 or higher, such as now,
Yeah.
the abyss will also show you what you must become, and you can permanently swap 2 of your stats.
Oh, cool.
So it's a stat juggler, but I wanted to know, like, will the abyss show me what I must become?
Um, yes, but I'm happy for you to like interpret that because I don't have a specific answer for you. Like, what does the abyss tell you you must become?
Whew. I guess if it's the I don't want to go too extreme yet, but I'd say like I don't mean to be both unoriginal, but at the same time I don't want to escalate things too high. I'll just say that it tells me that definitely more people have to die to make things right for Michael.
Uh huh.
Yeah,
And
let's go roll with that.
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I might cut back to Dorian and Kane unless there's anything else that Iris or Hope want to say to each other before we go back. All right. So Dorian and Kane, what's happening? Well, I guess there's a knock at the door then.
Okay. And this is still at
Dorian's house.
Yeah. At the front door.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Dorian will look at everyone and be like, and then kind of tiptoe down there, try to avoid any windows,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of try to look through the little peephole thing.
It's Michael.
Dorian reaches out.
Uh-huh.
He's like, what the? Because he hasn't felt Michael around.
Yeah, you feel him. He's right outside your door.
Okay.
Like the absence that was there this morning, it's gone. That feels like him.
Okay. He opens the door.
Michael just smiles and says, like, "Oh, hey, Dorian. Sorry I missed D&D. I just got caught up. What's up?"
Where is it?
And I think we'll finish there for this week.
Give you that.
So just a round of stars and wishes if we can. Maybe just going left to right across the character keeper. So starting with Hope.
Okay. Wow. Stars to everyone for making it an incredible episode. Star to Shane for incorporating seemingly all the separate backstories in one overarching intrigue here. That's impressive. I especially liked how you integrated my death into the proceedings, and I think I'll give a separate star to Matthew for being basically my episode partner for much of the runtime today. I think we made up for the lost time pretty nicely today.
Yeah.
And I really love that connection between Iris and Hope. As for wishes, I don't know. I guess let's just have a grand finale to wrap this up. I think I'd like that where I see Hope's story going. I think it would be great if there was a chance for her to sacrifice herself in some way to save someone else. Maybe let's just leave it at that. But I think that would be a natural conclusion to her story.
Cool. That's great. Thank you so much. Kane or Sam?
Yeah, oh my gosh, stars to everybody. That was so much fun. I do want to call out Rye. That was like I'm having so much fun just bouncing off of you. I'm very glad that you figured out how to make that that me like diving on top of you scene work. I wanted that to work, but I couldn't figure out how to make it happen, and you had the right thing to say, and I very much enjoyed how that scene went, and I want to see more of that. I love the story and the ghost twists are so good, and I'm so glad that Adam was able to join us. Everything has been so much fun with that. And Matthew's always a joy to play with. I didn't have a whole lot of interactions with you, but I think we made up for that last week, and so I'm okay with it. And wishes.
I feel like we're on a break, Kane. We're
we're gonna come back strong next time.
Yeah. But I think it was made so much sense to just not be together, and in a way that kind of helped develop the relationship anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, next week is going to be good. Wishes, that is, I guess, a wish for next week. I do want to interact more with Hope, because I have not had a whole lot of interactions with Hope, and get back and start interacting with Iris. I will say again, I have the move that when somebody saves me from forces too powerful for me to reckon with, they get bonuses. Does Dorian get that? Does Dorian get a thing for like saving me from the potential investigation?
I'm not sorry. I don't think that Dorian necessarily has saved you yet. I think he might yet get that bonus, but
fair enough.
I might put a pin in it.
Okay, I'm good with that. But I do want to explore that, and I do want to explore this these demands that my patron is putting on me. And I'm glad we got to that, but I want to push on that a little bit more.
Sure. Awesome. I think next is Iris. Oh, no.
Yeah. Wait. Am I mute?
I can hear you. Is that the question?
Okay. Yeah, that is the question. Oh God. Before I forget, I want to say stars to Shane. I think now that we're on our third recording together, our third time together, I think like so much of what I'm enjoying of the game that is coming out, I feel like is directly attributable to you. You know what I mean? Like I think the way you have been silently, without calling attention to yourself, like just sort of like pacing everything and making sure that everybody just sort of like jumbles up together in a way that like I don't know, like whether you're a grand puppet master or not. I don't know if you're ever going to tell me, but I think it, out of the GMs I've been playing this month alone, I think everyone's really had their time. Like there's just a sense of balance that I'm really enjoying, and the pacing. And I think also Adam pointed this out, like the way you've incorporated everyone's backstories, I think is really, it's just really perfect. I don't know. I'm just having, yes, I am having a great time, but I also think it's just like great stories are happening too. And, everybody's like little pieces from individual pieces are coming together too. So, kudos to Shane for like making it all happen. It's the wicked magic you've got there going, Shane.
Well, I mean, I appreciate that. Like, thank you. But also, it's because you all like brought such great, like, juicy backstory to work with.
As for the rest of my stars, now I didn't get to, interact with Dorian and Kane today. Like, I'll, echo, what other people have said, which is that it's there's some great saucy dynamics going on right now, and um, yeah, I said in the middle of the recording, I think that Adam, um, uh, you know, like I'm a big fan of Hope right now. I think her character is like low key, super cool. Um, I think the experience. I think as I'm describing my stars and wishes stars today, the experience I'm having in is I am literally beside myself with the popcorn now, and to be honest, this I had been more expecting slash interested in sort of like pairing off with Kane in terms of like turn someone on moves. But then when Hope came into the picture, and then like more themes came up that felt interesting to pull out, and they just sort of like started growing together, like the way they started pulling at each other. I was just like, oh no. I didn't know what I wanted. This is what I wanted instead, and just started eating the popcorn even more furiously, like a really, really good episode of TV. So there you
Frankly,
go. Yeah,
frankly, I'm getting jealous that you're stealing Hope from me right now. So
I know, right? That's the whole point. I mean, I honestly forgot about it until you gave a look at the Hope earlier, and I was like, oh yeah. But you got Kane, so. But yeah, those are my stars.
Any wishes?
Oh, for wishes, I think I don't know where we're going. I think I feel reasonably confident, no pressure, reasonably confident that things will come together in an awesome way, and that even more juicy dynamics are just gonna come together. But where I see Iris is, um, I don't know what destiny or ending would you haven't we have in mind for her, but for me, like I can imagine a pretty where I don't know if her story ends with this campaign, but I do think that whatever happens, she's willing to sacrifice herself, even if it means cursing herself to the very life that she's trying to escape. You know what I mean? So, um, I think it's very similar to what Hope laid out. So I think maybe any kind of ending that's like, and you know, um, since that day, Iris has been on another plane of existence, or like in the dark dimension or whatever, and she remains there fighting. Like I don't know how what big nerds you guys are, but Vin Diesel has a Drow Ranger, right? And according to legend, he hasn't played that character in years, but he alludes to the mythology or the mythos of that character by saying, "Well, I don't know what's going on with that guy, but he's probably like wandering the plains, like just kicking ass or something like that." And that's kind of like how I see Iris, doomed to be a warrior forever. At least by her own hand, rather than by the bidding of the project. So there you go. That's my, in many words, that's my wishes for her to keep on fighting.
Thank you. And Rye, what about you?
Um, so star to Matthew for getting your kill scene, especially with a volatile -1, I think it was when you wrote that. Like you created a killer and then you gave the worst volatile stat. So that's great. I'm really glad that worked because I was worried about that roll. So
I might
Hope,
be a little cocky about my dice rolls.
yeah, no, you got that one. Hope, I miss you. Um, but I love how you just like show up and get everyone, and that just makes them love you immediately. So that's like, I don't know, that's cool. And Kane, I'm glad it's getting juicy. And what I'm most excited about is that we had 19 dice rolls, and a third of them were turn someone on. So that's pretty awesome.
Did you count?
I did. I did. I had to go see how many it was because it just kept happening. I wish I would have counted last session because I think we had more last session. Um, Shane, I think I have a weird suspicion I know where you're going, but I don't want to like say it out loud. So I have a feeling you're combining like 3 of my favorite things, which is like Monsterhearts, D&D, and my favorite horror movie. But I'm gonna wait till next time to see if it's true.
Wait, what's the movie?
I'm not gonna say it out loud because I don't want
Ah,
to jinx it. I don't want to jinx it.
so
So
fascinated.
anyway, yeah. But yeah, it's great, and I think it's gonna come together beautifully in a tragic mess next time. So I don't know if I have any wishes, except for that I think Dorian is gonna keep progressing from being like a selfish jerk into being very protective of his growing brood.
Mm. Cool. All right. Thanks so much, everyone. Just stars all around. That was super fun for me. I really expected today's session to be quite a lot different, and there was like the specific moment where Iris just was like, Michael, what's his name? Michael's dead. I was like, oh, all my prep for today is just gonna go now. Something else is happening. But it turned out so good. It was like really fun. Um, my wish is clearly that we have an amazing finale next week. I think it will be really fun. I'm really looking forward to it. Thanks very much, everyone. I'll just end the recording here.